We
Psychological.
were
Let her land.
assimilated.
Let her land, and then you respond to her.
Okay,
Thank you. Let's be
you're right.
respectful.
You're right. You're right, brother.
Thank you.
But
I'm going to land my point, and I apologize if you feel that I'm taking too long, so I will just get straight to it. In my personal opinion, I think that capitalism is anti indigenous ways of living. I think that African Americans had a very beautiful and strong culture prior to COINTELPRO, prior to them pouring crack into our communities, prior to the government putting a hand in how our family structures and dynamics are set up by telling the black man he can't be in the home in order for the black woman and the children to receive assistance. I believe that it is important for us to get our financial situations set up by making sure we own land, we own property, we're working together to be owners and architects of our own reality by taking control of our financial system. So, own land, own real estate, be in the stock market. I know the stock market is kind of evil, but I understand, but there, let me land it. Make sure that you have double dual citizenship in another country in case things pop off in America. Make sure that you know permaculture. Make sure you can grow your own food like our ancestors did. Make sure you know foraging. Make sure you know the trees in your backyard. Make sure you know herbalism. Make sure you can heal yourself. Make sure that you can homeschool your children if it comes down to it. Make sure you have basic survival skills. And this is what I teach on my platform on Shashat's Tools. I teach people how to live off grid. I've spent 10 years spending time with the indigenous people around the world. I've spent time with the indigenous in Ecuador with the Quechua. I spent time with the Bribri in Costa Rica. I spent time with the Ateso people 19 hours outside of Kampala in Uganda. I spent time
nice.
Africans in Brazil. I spent time with Ghanaians. I spent time with people in South Africa. I have traveled. And through my travels, I have learned the Garifuna and Belize. Listen, through my travels, I've learned that America is the only place where our family structures are dangerously disconnected,
Yep.
where our family structures are attacked socially by the government, by social media, by the chemicals that are poured into our food, the chemicals poured into our water supply system. If we can exonerate ourselves from that, if we can liberate ourselves from being so dependent on a system that seeks to kill us, waging biological warfare, if we go the other way and choose how we interact with resources and how we share resources among one another, we are going to restructure how we socialize with one another. We will re socialize ourselves. We'll re engineer ourselves to be more positive towards one another. The first step is owning land. And that's my point. Thank you. I'm finished.
Go ahead, my brother.
Shots too. I want to say thank you for what you said because what she said was actually the actual tool to liberate ourselves from societal psychological indoctrination. We literally, if you really look at the pay scale right now in society in America, the black woman is scheduled to get paid higher than her. Why? Why is she scheduled to pay higher than the black man? So she's put in the pedestal where she can look at her man and look at him and say, you need to do more. So she can be able to look down on him. The main thing that was the uprising of the black movement that literally spearheaded the Civil Rights Act of the 1965. The black power base was the family dynamic. The black family was the power dynamic in our whole structure. So as long as the family was united, the community was united, therefore we were all together. This where the societal psychological indoctrination came from. Go back through history. When have you ever heard a black man or any man say, I don't need a woman to raise my children? But you've always heard that from women or black women or any woman say, I don't need the man to raise my kids. Why? Because of that government assistance they provided to let you know You don't need him. What's the quickest way to get rid of a man in the household? To devalue him. If he has no value in the household, what the hell he gonna stay there for? He gonna leave and he gonna find where he's valued. That is the creation of a single parent society. Societal psychological indoctrination. That is what we are all victims of right now.
Yeah, that's true. Are you still there, Miss Tools? What do you think is the core AT given oh no, there she goes. Given what y'all both spoke about, what would you say? And is it Miss Sasha? I want to say Sasha or Sesha.
Shishak.
Oh,
Sasha
man.
is a Kemetic goddess from
Sasha.
Sasha.
Now I realize, right? Sasha. I'm sorry.
No, Sasha is a Kemetic goddess from Egypt.
Right.
And she was a wife of Tahuti and co-wives with Ma'at, and she represented wisdom.
Right. What would you think is the outside of that though, given the progress we have made in our communities, outside the progress we haven't made, what do you think is the core issues of what's going on amongst the man and woman outside of that? Like, what do you think is the core issue? Do you think it's the men or the woman who's making it hard for us to get along with each other?
It's the music.
No. I said between men and women.
It's the music.
No, most of us don't make music.
What I'm saying is sound, vibration, cymatics, frequency. Even if we're not listening to the radio, you ever sing a song?
No, don't go too fast. When you say the music, what do you mean by, like, what is the music called? What is the music doing?
The music is engineering us against one another.
But that's why. Where do you see a mass amount of men or women against each other? When you say they're against each other, can you substantiate what you mean about men and women being against each other?
Okay, that's a good point. We have complaints about one another, and most of those complaints revolve around finances and giving and receiving. Transactional relationships are a symptom of capitalism. Traditional indigenous societies didn't operate based on capitalism, where you hoard a resource and sell it at an exorbitant amount for profit.
Yes.
In indigenous cultures, all resources that are natural belong to everyone, and only specialized artisan things are sold or bartered with. But everyone owns land, so no one's root chakra is thrown off at all, because everyone is provided for and family structures are intact.
No. What I was at, you're saying that we're against each other, and then you said a lot of us are transactional. That's what you're saying, right? But hold on, my brother.
Go ahead.
Men, I don't see men asking. So when you say transactional, you saying money? Like we need each other for money?
Even more than just money.
Okay.
Favors, support. I did this for you, so you got to do this for me. And if you're not supporting me, I'm not going to support you.
Yeah, but that you need that in a relationship. I'm not going to be with you if you ain't not doing nothing for me. We have to be transactional in some capacity. And when you're looking at the dynamics of the relationship, a lot of times what the men will ask for, a lot of sisters are not willing to bring to the table. Whatever most men, you probably, and I'm not going to speak for you, but when I see and have conversations with the men and women on these panels, I don't see men say what they won't do for women, where I see women countless times say what they won't do for a man. And if the man asks for something and he has an expectation, he's looked at as if he's transactional. He's looked at all he wants is sex. Let me land real quick, my brother. So if we're truly against each other, why is it that the man doesn't have a problem giving to the woman, but the woman sees it as oppressive if she's asked to give something to the man?
This is the reason why I was getting to it earlier.
That's a very good question.
Societal, psychological indoctrination.
Have you experienced this?
I'll ask you this. What do you think is the higher grossing movie or the more viewed movie, though they both came out in the same time period?
Gotta think about it.
Set It Off or Waiting to Exhale?
You said what about those movies?
Which two movies do you think were the
For some
highest
reason, I
grossing and the
can't hear the
most
brother.
viewed, though they came out at the same time and had the same message about women's empowerment? Set It Off or Waiting to Exhale?
Probably Waiting to Exhale, I would think.
I would
Exactly.
definitely say Waiting to Exhale too.
You want to know why? Because Waiting to Exhale was one where only one woman at the end of that movie came out with a man that she thinks she can get in a relationship with. And there was a woman who was single for a while, had a grown kid, and the man she was hooking up with was a widower. All the other three women, it was about them putting men down, shoving them to the ground, leaving them, or making them look like they wasn't shit. Now, Set It Off, on the other hand, women stepping up, showing we're strong, we're powerful, we don't need a man, we can do things. Not one point in there were they putting a man down. Hell, one of them was in love with a man, but had to leave because if she didn't, she would go into prison. The rest of them died.
And you think those movies were pivotal to how we treat each other now?
No, think about it. Once that was shown, that the one where the men were getting put down, once that was shown that that was more profitable, now think about it. During that time, at the same time, you had shows like Full House, Family Matters, the family dynamic shows. But through time since then, those shows were diminished.
Okay.
But the single parent, the 16 and pregnant, and the rise of reality TV. Housewives. Now you got Housewives of Atlanta, Basketball Wives, and the Baddies, Bad Girls Club, and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the shows about the men, the shows that uplift men, where you see them at? The movies that uplift, where they at?
Right.
You don't see them.
It's societal psychological indoctrination. You uplift one while at the same time you're putting
down the other. Yeah.
That is why we are where we are. It's been happening since the 90s. Here we are getting ready, 4 years away from 2030, I'm sorry. And this is where we are.
What you think, Tia?
I agree with them, honestly. Growing up, I looked up to the Cosby shows and the Family Matters. Like, I always wanted the family dynamic because I didn't grow up like that. So I always wanted the whole 2-parent household. I always wanted to give that to my kids. I never wanted to be a single mother of two by two different guys, but I can't want something if the other person don't want it. And I know I stayed in situations where I should have left, no matter how many times I tried to talk, no matter how many times I tried to suggest therapy. Relationships only work when two people are willing to work together.
Right, but who's supposed to lead and who's supposed to follow? Like, are we supposed to be leading each other? Is one person supposed to be the leader, the other person supposed to be following? Because we saying, are we supposed to work together, or is one person supposed to do majority of what's happening in our relationships versus the other person?
Somebody's got to be the one that submits.
Yeah, somebody definitely have to submit.
In today's society, whether it's the man, look, I'm gonna keep it real. My little brother, for 22 years, house husband. Guess what? Them goddamn kids, though, you can't tell them, hey, man, take a break, man. You've been working too hard. You can't tell them that because they don't know how to do nothing but. It don't matter which one sit at home. I've learned that after watching that happen. It don't matter which one sit at home. I've learned, hell, if dad's the one at home when they get home from school, they already know. Yeah, we ain't going outside playing with our friends. We better get this homework done. We better get these chores done. All that got to be done before we ask question one.
What has to be done?
All your homework, chores,
Okay.
cleaning up around it, all that. When you come home from school, I watch my niece and my nephews. The moment they walked in that house, you still ain't hear a peep. You can hear a piss. You can hear the piss of a mouse in the corner
It's structure.
because they didn't say anything. They already knew what the rules were.
It's
So
structure.
ass over there to that table, get your homework done. If you think it's done, bring it to one of us adults in the house. Let us check it. If it ain't done, we'll let you know. Go fix what you need to fix. When it's done, get these chores done around the house. Then you can ask question one. Can you do this? Can you do that? It
Yes.
doesn't matter who's the one that's home when they get there, as long as the law is laid down and the structure and the foundation
It's there.
of what's supposed to happen at home is there, it don't matter.
Yeah, it
So-
does.
And as long as, and also,
So
this is
hold on,
what I
brother.
learned
Hold
watching.
on, brother. Hold on. So you saying, listen to what you're saying. You're saying it don't matter who's there as long as the foundation is laid. But we seeing that we already saying then the problem shouldn't be single mother and single father households. Then if the
Hey,
law is
but-
laid, if hold on.
Okay.
If the law is laid, then we shouldn't have no issues when the mother and father are separated, and we shouldn't say you need a two-parent household. If the mother says something or the father says something, then it should go. If that's the case, why are so many broken households struggling? Why are so many people struggling with their kids when they have the laws implemented?
And this is where I wanted to go to. That's only if, and this is something that I'm glad my sister-in-law did not do. When my brother went to go discipline them kids, no matter what way it was, if he felt as though it was just a talk, cool.
No, but that
If he
goes
felt
against. Hold on, brother. I'm trying to listen to what you, brother. You just said it doesn't matter who's there as long as the law is laid. Are you saying if those kids ever want to buck back at the mom that she can control those children?
that, yes,
So
Yes.
so a mother can discipline the kids who buck back at her, especially boys. She can control boys. If you grew up in your
hold on.
I'm
I'm not gonna
asking
say in every situation. In
Can a
every
mother-
situation,
no, could your mother control you if you wanted to do
Yes.
something to her? If you
my mother
she
could
could-
because my mother could because it was already what was already stated. My mother already knew I was never that kid. I was never that guy.
But
I
in
was
general, do
always-
you think most women can control grown
No.
boys, teenage
No.
boys?
No,
So should we not? So we shouldn't probably use your anecdotal, right?
no. I'm just saying in my situation.
No, I said so we shouldn't use your anecdotal. If it doesn't work for most households,
No.
we shouldn't use it, right?
No. What I will say is, please don't. I'm an exception. This situation I'm talking about is exception. It's not the rule. There
But
are
then-
exceptions to the rule. I will say that.
Well, who should run then? Who should run the house? Who should be leading the household?
Well, as far as from a discipline manner, it has to be the
No,
man.
I know in general, not even disciplinary. Who should run the house?
It should be man, because I'm gonna say this. Let's keep it real, y'all. Ain't no words more powerful.
No, but hold on.
Anybody's
Hold on.
mouth
Let
is,
this
I'm
let
gonna
the
tell
sis-
you, daddy.
hold on. Let the sisters answer real quick though. Hold on. Tia, who should run the household? Should it be the woman or the man that run the household? And why?
I feel like the man should run the household because I feel like because of his tone in certain things, you're going to get more out of it. It's going to be more structured.
So because of his tone.
I feel like it.
So
just-
if you were a man, what would attract you about him is his tone. You would think he can take care of business because his tone.
Well, no, it's more that goes into it, but I will speak from me having a son. I have to repeat myself constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But a man, you
Versus
don't.
when a man comes or his father says something, he knows
You
to like
don't.
tighten up. I do
Mm-hmm.
martial arts as well. So when he goes with me to my class, when my sensei says something, he's like, he straighten up. But for me, it's like I have to keep saying, I have to keep saying, I have to keep saying. So yes, I feel like the man, and how he comes across being structured,
Yeah.
and how the child, even with a daughter, because sometimes daughters do get a little snappy. But yeah, I definitely feel like the man definitely sets the tone for the household.
Okay, how about you, my sister? Who you think should set the tone of the household?
My answer is going to sound very woo woo.
Okay. Who you think should lead the household? Who you think should be in
I
control?
gotta qualify my answer before I give it.
Okay. Well, say who you think should do it, then give the context.
Yeah.
God, spiritual alignment.
Well, before we get there, just between the man and the woman, before we get there, because a lot of it, you know what? When I was growing up, it's going to be very difficult for people to get to God if they don't even know who they are. If they don't know how to love, if they don't have no structure in their life, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to respect anybody, it's going to be really difficult for them to get to God if they can't even see themselves. So who you think should be leading the household, typically a man or a woman?
What are the roles in leadership?
No, just answer that question first, and then you give the context you would like to give.
I think
So who do you think should lead the household and why?
I think there's certain roles that men should lead, and I think there's certain roles that women should lead in order to create harmony.
No, but who should lead the household? It can't be two masters.
That part.
If there's the last say, who gets the last say in the household? If y'all both disagree, if y'all both disagree, who gets the last say?
I have to speak a paragraph in order to explain what I'm talking
Okay, let me ask you another question.
about. Okay.
If we go to war, who should go to war? Men, who should we put on the front lines, men or women?
I think we should avoid war.
No, that's not the question I asked you.
Because the question you're asking
No,
me,
you're asking. So this is what was happening, and what you seem like happening with me and you. You're showing your ability to demonstrate being realistic on certain things, but when I ask you different questions, it's like you dodge the realistic aspect of it. You just said how much we need land. You spoke about what's happening to men and women in this country, which was war that was put upon them. But then when I ask you about war, you say we shouldn't go to war. Ma'am, the world's been going at the world since it's been existing. And the people who conquer, the people who dominate are the ones who are in rule. So I'm gonna ask you again, realistically, this is what the real world is. If we have to go to war, should we put women on the front lines or should we put men on the front lines?
Capitalism is economic warfare, right? Within the household, we shouldn't be at war. But as a united unit, we are going to war together, and men have their roles and women have their roles. During the battle against
No, ma'am. Hold on. That's not what I'm asking. No. If right now if me and you are living together and someone breaks into our house, who should attack the man? Who should be fighting the man, the perpetrator? Are you expected to go fight the man or me? Who's supposed to address that person first? You or me?
the men.
Why is it so hard? So if we go to war, should we put our women on the front line or should we put men on the front lines?
The men are on the front line.
But why was it so hard to talk? So ma'am, what world would you put the women on? Like, if we were going to war, do you think we would win the war if we put women on the front lines?
No.
Then why would that so hard to answer?
I have to disagree.
Hold on, brother, please. Brother, hold on, brother. What would make that? Why was that so hard to answer?
I was addressing what the roles women have. Women aren't on the front lines, but they're providing the food, they're tending to the wounded, they're
But I was talking about front lines. I didn't talk about those.
I'm,
I'm talking about a war in the front of the line where there's actually death and shooting and fighting occurring. Who should be in that line? Who should be on those lines?
we said men, and I'm also talking about
But we didn't.
the other parts of war that
So,
need.
I'm gonna tell you something I'm identifying. I'm gonna tell you something else I'm identifying. Remember, you said you're a teacher, correct?
I would love to finish the
Oh, hold
sentence.
on, ma'am. Hold on. No, ma'am. No, hold on, ma'am. I would let you have been finishing. I gotta identify. I'm gonna tell you what I'm identifying though. It's you go back quickly to the value of the woman and what she's doing. But when we speak about what would actually bring value to the men as well, too, and while we're put on earth, because you said we have two different roles, it's like you don't want to shed light on the role of the man. Like you went away from it to talk about, like if I say, hey, who should be the nurturers? Who should be loving the babies? Who should be kissing and holding them? I would prefer the women to do it more so than the men. I want the men to do it as well too, but they need the love of the mothers. I didn't go, well, I don't know about that. I think, maybe I think men need to be there. Men need to hold their sons. Men need to kiss their kids. Men need to stop leaving their kids. I wouldn't have took away from the woman, just expressing the value of the woman and start talking about maybe the negative aspect of the man or why the man should be in there when there was a time to speak on the value of what men can do as well too. What makes a man valuable?
I feel like a man brings structure to the household.
No, I'm asking Miss
Shots.
Sisha.
I recognize it because I'm
Sentence.
very knowledgeable about Egyptian history.
I am too, but I just for that name, for some reason, I used to have a hard time pronouncing that name. I know about Set. I know about a lot of Egyptian culture. I know about Egypt being the birth of civilization or the cradle of civilization, excuse me. But what makes men valuable?
Do you want me to answer from the modern standpoint and the indigenous standpoint?
From your perspective, what makes a man valuable?
From the indigenous perspective, there's a circle, and in the middle of the circle is women and children, and on the outer perimeter of the circle are the men. The men protect the inner of the inner circle, and the women and children are at the center, and they create the glue. And that circle is like there's a beautiful African saying, let the circle be unbroken. You need the perimeter and you need the nucleus in order for it to stay whole and together. So we need men to perform their roles within indigenous society, and those roles are actually quite beautiful: provision, protection, and security and structure.
That sounds like most of all society is patriarchy or patriarchal.
I wouldn't say it's
That's the
patriarchal. I
society
would say
I mean, that's even
humanity
Western
was built on.
society.
I
That's
say
That's
what
humanity. That's
Western.
humanity's
when
living
you ask
structure.
sisters, what they're asking for, they say protection and provision and security.
Mhm.
That's a Western philosophy
So,
as well too.
so I don't understand how women are complaining
Right.
about a patriarchy when that's
Because
actually
side of
what
the
they want.
we haven't discussed what the matriarchs are doing.
You see how what I said?
Patriarchs,
Okay.
matriarchy is assuming there's no role for patriarchs, but there's the patriarch and the matriarch are both
Which
performing,
one is superior?
blending that together. So that's Western thought, to think there needs to be some kind of superiority, that someone's over someone else. Within indigenous culture, a puzzle piece has to fit the other puzzle piece in order for a beautiful picture to be created.
But the one
I
has
hold
to be
on,
above the other.
brother, hold on, please. Sister, I purposely asked you what makes men valuable, and you went right back to talk about the matriarch again.
No, I answered your question, and then I shared with you my mindset from an indigenous perspective.
Okay, are most men willing to protect and provide when they love a woman?
I don't know.
So you know all that, but you don't know if most men would protect and provide a woman. Have you been loved by a man before?
Yes,
Have they protected and provided for you?
yes.
So that's your experience, right? Wow. But you don't know if most may do that, right?
Well, when I my feminine relationships, I'm hearing a lot of complaining about not being supported. She's paying all the bills. He's not supporting her. He's leaving the kids. Like I hear that so much. I also have like blood sisters that have dealt with that, or a guy kind of made a child behind her back with someone else, started a new family. I've been hearing like so many sad things happening to the
But have
sister.
they told you what they've done to cause these things, or are they just complaining about the other side?
That's a good question. A lot of times they do share with me how the relationship started, and then the little things that both did to contribute to the man being dishonest and not feeling like he can live his authentic self, and then stepping out of the relationship and
Uh,
creating a new
Was
family.
your mother in your life?
Yes.
Like she was healthy? Like was your father in your life?
Yes. My dad's my best friend.
So both your mother and father were in your life, but you're
Ye-
not sure whether most men. So how about your uncles? Are they good men?
Yes.
Are your grandfather, was he good men?
Yeah. Well,
So
good is a strong word, but for that time in the 40s and 50s, I would say, yeah, the best that he could be, because there was Vietnam, there was World War II.
no, but how do you know? Hold on, how can you know that if you weren't there?
Well,
Mm.
from stories passed down in our family, in my family, people's
Okay,
experience and memories.
man. So let me tell you, this is the thing that's very hard for me to understand is how the women hear what the women are talking about, but they don't hear what the men are talking about. That it's really odd to me that I understand how when I ask you the question, you can hear what happens to the sisters and their experiences, but you have no idea about the men experiences. Like you don't hear about what men are going through in their households. You don't hear about the mothers who give up their kids for adoption, the mothers who don't want to raise their children, the mothers who are disrespectful to the men, the mothers who just they're extremely selfish. A lot of women are extremely selfish. You don't hear about those women.
I broke up with a friend like that. That she was very I felt she was very disrespectful to her boyfriend, now husband. But I just couldn't be a part. I called her out on her ish. Called her out on it. Because at one point she was using my name for situations that she was involved in, and I'm like, don't be using me because I don't want him looking at
Yeah.
me a certain way. Like I support it. I don't.
Right.
But
But what I'm saying was your experience with women and like has your experience with most men been negative?
when no, no.
How about your experience?
Me?
Yes.
No.
Mm.
I love my
Me?
black men. All of them probably not be rap too tight, but I love my black men.
Are you asking in terms of men that I've dated, or men that are just part
Just
of,
men in general, because when I asked you
like, in?
when I asked you if you believe most men in general will protect and provide, you said I don't know so fast.
I
I
have
don't
some
understand it. If your uncles, your grandfather, your father, the man you met, you don't have those issues, but then you took the word of the women who may be having bad experiences instead of your own experience as well too, or maybe just in general watching how men move. Like I just don't see how you can't get what you're asking for, how Tia can't get what she's asking for, um, unless there's a side of the women that women don't want to discuss, you know. That's the part that keeps missing in these conversations to me. Like a lot of sisters won't talk about their red flags. They won't tell us how they dropped the ball. They won't tell us how they try to control a man. They won't tell us how they disrespected a man. They won't tell us if they put their hands on a man, but they'll always say whether the man was a cheater, whether he was a liar, whether he was violent, whether he was all these kind of men. And we always ask, well, how about the good guys that you dealt with? What about those guys?
hmm
And
Don't say nothing about them.
we grew apart. We weren't on the same we were on the same page, or I lost my identity with that guy. You know, it's like how did you lose yourself with the good guy, but you was yourself with the bad guy?
mm, man.
You know, so I just be trying to I'm telling you because I'm
No,
sure
you cannot.
psychological stoner would be like, yo, Ali, I messed up on a couple of women, family. Like I messed up. I had some good women come in my
I
life.
slipped up on a couple. I'm
You know,
not gonna deny it.
and
I
men are
definitely
saying, but I swear I rarely hear women say I'm wrong. I rarely hear women say I'm sorry, and I rarely hear women say I'm hold themselves account. It's very hard to get women to hold themselves accountable. Like if
They
she
won't
did
do it.
something, it's gonna be about what you did. It can't just be
Accountability.
I did it. It's gonna be I did this because you. I didn't put up the dishes because you didn't take out the trash. I didn't do my part because you fell asleep. It's never gonna be, you know what? I was just wrong. I'm sorry.
You wanna know why?
Is this the
Here,
bulk of your
Shad,
experience
tell me
with
if I'm wrong.
What's
Mhm.
hold on? She's
The
asking.
reason
Hold on.
why a
She
lot of
was
women don't want
well,
accountability.
psychological. So
Okay,
answer
go
her
ahead.
question, and I'll let you answer the question.
Go ahead.
What was the question you asking my sister?
I said, is this the bulk of the experience of the women that you've dated? Like the women that you've dated, have they not apologized to you when they made a mistake?
Yes, most women are not. Most women are. Ma'am, women literally will make the unapologetic black part. Like women put that part on there. Like women are unapologetic. Black women, black power, black queens, black bosses. Like black women say they queens without no king. How can you be a queen without a king? Can you tell me that? Even when you looking at when we talk about Egypt, how can you be the king or a queen without being appointed the queen?
You can't be a queen if there's
Hold
no
on, let her answer, brother.
Queen Kendake was a single queen, but the goal is not to be single.
No, ma'am. I'm sure she ma'am. Inheritance makes women when they become queens is typically inheritance. Her father made her the queen. She can't make herself the queen. The king
And
makes it the king.
push passed down
The
through
king appoints a king, and the king appoints a queen. If she becomes a queen, it's typically passed down. She can't make herself the queen.
it's usually passed down by the matriarch, but yeah.
No, ma'am. It's passed down by the patriarch. The patriarch made the queen.
It depends on which culture. Some cultures it's passed down patriarchally, other cultures is passed down by the matriarch.
Which culture passes
Which
down the
culture is
matriarch?
that?
Which culture makes the queen?
In Meroitic Kush, it was matriarchal. In West
Who?
Africa,
Say it again.
I said in Meroitic Kush and in Ghana, the royal bloodline was passed down matriarch through the matriarch.
That was
But in
after
other
it was
cultures,
patriarchal and there was no more men to pass it down to. It becomes matriarchal.
Where
The
is that?
kingdom of Kush,
I'm trying
the
to
kingdom
Google.
of Kush was originally a
Oh,
patriarchal
Kingdom
kingdom.
of Kush.
It's the reason why Egypt was always at war was with the kingdom of Kush because Egypt it was established in the Kush kingdom. It was in the
according to
Kushite
Dr.
kingdom.
Daniel
Those are actually what we know now is
and
Nubian
Chancellor D.
kingdom.
Williams, those books that they wrote would suggest otherwise. So
They're Nubian Kushites. That's where Egypt was established on Nubian
have you read
Kushite
by Dr.
land.
Ben Hakkinen and by Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Chancellor D. Williams? Have you read those books written by
Yes,
these authors in ancient Renoko Rashidi? Have you read these books by
yes,
these authors?
yes.
Which books have you read that say the Meroitic
Do
Kush was?
you know that? Do you know that the Egyptian pyramids, the entire Egyptian uh, kingdom, is actually 20,000 years older?
Kush is different than Egypt, and Egypt wasn't the.
Kush is
It,
actually
so
older
let's talk
than
about
Egypt.
Meroitic Kush.
Kush was
Wasn't
established before Egypt. Kush was
yeah.
established
So
before
we're
Egypt. I
talking about.
literally just
Let's
so
talk
if
about
Egypt is 20,000 years older, how much older is Kush? Kush is actually 40,000 years older than Egypt.
you haven't read
You're
those books.
really asking me I don't know this? Like I don't know.
Because Egypt is a European term, and in the books that I've read in studying African history, there are some patriarchal cultures and there's some matriarchal cultures. What works for the patriarchal culture works for them. What works for a matriarchal culture works for them. And in some tribes, some Bantu speaking tribes in South Africa, the matriarch and the patriarch work together. So it really depends on what works for you in your culture. So depending on the culture we're talking about, we can say what roles are attributed to men and women.
Yeah,
When I
that's what I'm saying is
comes
what
to
you're explaining is yes, there was a matriarch in
royalty is
Kush.
passed down through the matriarch in some cultures and through the patriarch in others. It's
Yes.
not good or bad, it's just
No, no,
fact.
no. I'm not saying it is. But what I'm saying is what you're saying about the matriarch in Kush during that kingdom period, that
Mhm.
was after the last king, patriarchal king. He had no sons. So his daughters inherited and it became a matriarch.
Can we speak in terms of BCE, names of different rulers and the specific culture we're talking about?
I don't want to go too far back to the past. All my main point was establishing and understanding the patriarchy role. And when you spoke about the man's role, it sounded like a patriarch. It didn't sound like a patriarch. You said the man was supposed to protect and provide and also implement the security as well too. So it sounds like a patriarch.
And the
And
provisions as well.
When we have uh, when we have a war, a culture that is engaging in a lot of warfare, we need the patriarchs to step up. And I think that was the powerful part about the late 80s and the early 90s. Originally, the Crips and the Bloods were pretty much an offshoot of the Black Panthers, and the Black Panthers were protecting our communities from pigs, from white police that were inappropriately treating African American communities. And I think that they were demonized, they were socially engineered against one another. I loved the video that Michael Jackson made and Beat It when he was trying to unite us and be like, listen, it's not supposed to be the Bloods against the Crips, it's supposed to be all of us against the system, against the power, fight the power, like against police who are destroying our communities, killing our children. Like, this is the purpose of the warriors. Like, a lot of Black men who are in jail, those Black men are our warrior class. Like, all that's left out are these 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 computer engineers that are like, yeah, that's not convenient for me, but maybe I can meet you on Tuesday. Like, I feel like the
so the
Black
men in prison
jail
are our
our
warriors.
warrior class that's been locked away from us. I don't know what you think about that, but it's just a theory I have. I don't know.
Why would the men that committing the crimes be our warriors?
Well, what I would say is
Like the
there's
so
a
especially when we look at
African
the delete
code
deletions.
that says
No,
if they kill
hold on. When you made that statement, right? If you look
village,
at the if
they will
go
burn
ahead,
the
go ahead.
village down just to feel its warmth. And I feel
Yeah.
like the public education system has really messed up the minds of our children. But if they had proper family structures, if they were protected, if they were educated towards self-love rather than self-hate, we would have way less crimes than what we have now.
No, but
And
then why
instead,
would but
the
look,
new
but that's
Jim
a
Crow,
concept. But hold on, but
there's
that's
a book written called The New Jim
hold
Crow,
on. Let me just
where they're
interject real quick. Hold on. Let me interject real quick. You're
black
going too fast. No, you're going too. Hold on.
disproportionately put
You're
in.
going too fast. I asked you to hold on. You just said the men who are committing the crimes are our true warriors, but then you said that we shouldn't be hating ourselves and we should be loving ourselves. So why are they the warriors and not the people that's loving themselves and being righteous and following the law?
What's your question? Why are
You
they the
just you
warriors and being
why
righteous?
are the people why are the people that's committing crimes against each other or committing the crimes against other people the warriors, but not the people who are loving each other?
No, I was actually speaking about a theory that I have
Yes,
when it
that's I'm asking your
comes
theory. That's your
to
theory.
the generation of people being locked away. I read this book called The New Jim Crow. And in this book, it's a phenomenal book if you don't have it. The New Jim Crow was talking about how more people are in jail than were enslaved. More people are in jail in 2025 than were enslaved in 1862. And that's really bad, which in disproportionately, even though we're only less than 26% of the population, African Americans are, we're like over 50% of the prison population. And yes, there are criminals who have done things they should not have done, but there's also people who are wrongly convicted just to fill in those privatized penitentiary systems. The penitentiary system is privatized. That means they make money off of filling those beds.
Yes, but most of us aren't in prison.
And you say
Yeah.
we're over 50% of
Most
the
men and
population.
women, majority of 99% of black men and women are not in prison. So why are we talking about? So the narrative,
At
it
99,
seems like you're trying to refute the narrative that white folk that you would claim creates that narrative, but most of us are not in prison, and most less than 1% of us commit violent crimes against each other. So why are we even talking about that?
And the fact that you say over 50% of us is the population in prison, but you neglect to mention that 53% of African Americans are exonerated for their convictions. So that means over 50% of the population that's African American, more than half of them are exonerated because they were never guilty of their crimes. So
Angelic being, I've been putting you together all night. Can you just admit you're a feminist? I've been battling 1,000 of you all night. You will never put a woman under the leadership of a man. Much love to my brother, the Thomas Legacy with the $10 super chat.
We just got $10, kinfolk. You know what that means, right? We back on our feet again. I ain't gonna hold you. Support the healing people.
So I think that's directed to you, my sister. The angelic being, I've been putting you together all night. Can you admit you're a feminist? I've been battling 1,000 of you all night. Will you never put a woman under the leadership of a man? So do you think the women should be, just if you're refuting what he's saying, do you believe that the woman should be under the leadership of men, or should men be under the leadership of women?
I think feminism is a white woman's
No,
concept.
that's my question. The question I asked you first. Look, every time, no, sister,
So
every time I ask you, the last 5 questions I asked you, you don't answer my question. That's not what I asked you. And if you ask me, look, I will tell you this: if you ask me a question and I didn't answer your question, I'm sure you would see it as condescending. Like repeatedly, you're doing that to me. I'm asking you simple questions too. I'm just asking you: should a man be under the leadership of a woman, or should women be under the leadership of men? And then substantiate for me.
I said God and spirit. That was my
I
first
didn't. You see what I'm saying, ma'am? Right now, it's going to be very difficult to prove to our people and to these other people. You know what? If I went based on what you're saying, wouldn't you think that God is against us? If the majority of the people that black people are worshiping, that God is putting the people that's ruling them in power. So whoever we believe in all around the world, the people that rule us believe in that God too. So whether you Muslim, whether you Christian, when our people are believing in that God, the people that are ruling us believe in that God as well too. So right now it's a struggle between our people to understand actually what God is or what spirit is. Right now, for what we can see, what I'm asking you is, if you believe in God, if men and women believe in God, who should lead over each other? Should it be the man with God leading over the woman, or the woman with God leading over the man?
I'm not Christian.
No, I didn't ask you that.
So I understand, but you said the dominant idea of what God is from these paradigms, and I think that you're right. That's why I said I needed to qualify my answer before.
Well, Egypt is patriarchal too. Egypt is patriarchal too. They believed in Pharaoh. So if Egypt is patriarchal too, did the women lead the men, or did the men lead the women?
Kemet wasn't patriarchal.
Kemet was definitely patriarchal, ma'am. You would have to prove to me that Kemet wasn't. Prove to me how Kemet wasn't patriarchal. Kemet was definitely patriarchal.
So I would love to, but it will take a little bit of a
go ahead
without being interrupted. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Not get interrupted. Okay. So first of all, I'm not a feminist. I think that that's destructive to the black family structure.
No, man. Oh, you answering his question. You're answering his.
It's not Egypt. It's ancient Kemet. There was a masculine and a feminine principle. We had Tahuti and we had Ma'at. We had Aset and we had Asar. We always had the feminine that balanced the masculine and the masculine that balanced the feminine. We needed both. The taxonomies of Tahuti, these these deities in ancient Kemet balanced one another. The woman was always seen holding and supporting the man as he moved forward. They both had sacred roles that they fulfilled together, and it fit like a beautiful puzzle piece. So the pharaoh was the example of holding up good moral character. And in the background, the woman was the throne that kept that structure, and they worked together as they fulfilled their roles with one another. Pharaoh led the whole community and the whole kingdom as to how to be a healthy person. Jesus actually was studying under the kings in ancient Kemet. He had to travel through the Valley of the Kings to develop his character to be a good person. Every pharaoh had to travel through the Valley of the Kings in order to develop his character to be worthy to lead a people. And that's why I say God, right? Because Ma'at represents balance, Tahuti represents wisdom, Seshat represents recording that wisdom down. She was the scribe goddess, right? And so in ancient Kemet, we had the masculine and the feminine.
You didn't so you didn't hold on, brother. So you didn't answer my
We
question.
needed each other.
Hold on, let me substantiate my part.
Okay.
Most of the pharaohs were men. The leadership was from the men. The society was structured around the men. There were I know there was Nefertiti. I know there was Cleopatra. When you speaking about certain pharaohs, do you realize there were 160 to 180 men who were pharaohs versus only 8 women who were pharaohs? So when you say balance, it should have been half and half. 95% of the pharaohs were men. So how can you say it's matriarch when majority of everything, the leadership, the political avenue of it, the military, the society was structured around male household heads,
religious practices, all of it.
And I'm not saying women had power. That's one of the societies where women can have property, they can divorce, they can run businesses. We know the Jewish story is a myth because they had unions. So how are you saying it's a matriarch when men ran households ran by the men and the pharaohs were majority of men?
Well, from your perspective, I think you're looking at it from a very Eurocentric Western.
No, ma'am. Tell me how. No, you didn't address what I said. Hold on. Listen what I hold on, ma'am. Hold on real quick before you say that. If I live in a nation, and I'm gonna ask Tia first, and I'm gonna come down and see Tia if you consistent with the logic as well too. If we're in a nation where 180 of the leaders, the 90 of the leaders were women, and 8 of them were men, and the households were ran by women, and most of the pharaohs were men. Most of the and there was a balance. Men can own property, men could divorce, but women ran the households and the society and the military. Is that a matriarch or a patriarch, Tia?
That's matriarch.
Yes. So I'm asking my sister if majority of it was ran by men, the political avenue, the military, the households were headed by men. Majority of the pharaohs were men. Where are you seeing it as a matriarchal society when it was patriarchal society?
I'm seeing it as not a patriarchal society. I'm seeing
why.
The reason why is both feminine and the masculine principles, both the women and the men had equal roles and were respected. Neither dominated over the other.
That's not true, ma'am. Yes, the men dominated the women in that culture as well too. They embraced the power of the women. They respected women. They gave power to certain women as well too. But the men ruled the households and they ruled the nation.
Okay.
Okay.
Books that were written by ancient Egyptologists, scholars.
None of them say they're not going to say. Show me the book where it says it was matriarchal.
I'm so glad you said that. The Black Man in the Nile. That one was written by Dr. Ben Yohanan. And then Dr. John Henry Clarke wrote 2 books.
Dr. John Henry Clarke said that the Egypt was matriarchal.
He didn't say it was matriarchal, but he did write a really amazing book. And he wrote the foreword to another book that is called African Women in Ancient Antiquity, which is a wonderful book that everyone should read. It talked about Queen Tai, talked about Queen Nefertari and Queen Nefertiti. It talked about the 18th dynasty and women's roles and men's roles and how they work together to have healthy family structures.
So what I bet you what you're conflating so what you're doing, you're conflating the value that Black women have the power that black women have, even in those societies, with them ruling the men. That's what you're doing. So black men have always put our women on a pedestal and valued our women and see them as powerful, but they did not lead our households. We led the households. And not only that, the woman would prefer for the man to lead the household, just like you would, because you said what was the man's value? It's protecting, it's providing, and giving the security. The problem is our women struggle with valuing the man and giving the respect that he deserves and letting him be the head. She wants to be the head and the neck. So that's why the brother thinks that you're a feminist, because you're not establishing how valuable the men are and how powerful the men are. You have to keep revering back to the woman and her value, but we never say she's invaluable. She's extremely valuable, but the men still run the society.
When you say the men run the society, what is it that you mean?
The man controls the laws. The man controls the fabrics. The man controls how it will be ran. He controls the political structure. He controls everything. Like he controls how to, and when he doesn't control it, when you let like even in relationships, in our general relationships, if we let the woman run the household, she runs it to the ground, to the end of the relationship. The boys are emasculated. The girls are over sexualized. She's doing stuff in front of the boys. She's doing stuff in front of the girls. Usually, like, we can't take away from that. When you have the man inside the household, just like Tia said, I could just look at like you look at your sons and they're going to listen to what the father says. Well, you got to repeat yourself over and over again. And the problem is, instead of cooperating with the power that he has, so it can make you the most powerful as well too. And all you have to do is nurture and be soft and just rule the house in him having your back. You want to be the man and the woman typically. That's why he said you were feminist, or a lot of women are feminists, because they can't value the man's role and value their role at the same time. They have to rule the household and get rid of the man if you feel value of themselves. But you will never be able to hold power or establish power without the man. If our women don't ever let our man sit back on the throne, it's a wrap for us, because she wants to sit on the throne and make the decisions. And that's how they divided us. He said, you the queen, sister. You the boss. Make sure you go make the money. Make it hard for them to be in a household. Make it hard for the kids to listen to you, and let your nation run into the ground. That's why most of these societies are in power, because they let their man lead. You know what I talked to my brother about, Trey, the other day, that we recognize? No, my brother Will. Do you know when the young men are taking pictures in the NBA, it's always the black mother having to be next to her son that's taking these pictures? When the white boys are taking pictures, they're with their white father. The mother doesn't even want to be in the picture. So to show how great the dynamics is and how powerful the family structure is. Even when me and my brother used to take pictures, taking football pictures or athletic pictures, it would be my father in the picture, and my mama would want my father to be there, so everybody knew she had a man and the kids had a man in their life. Like the sisters want the man there, and you can look on Facebook and IG. You'll show your presence. You'll show your nails done. You'll show your hair. You'll show you get flown out somewhere. But today's women don't even want to show the man. It don't make no sense. Like, how are you going to be truly empowered without a man being next to you? They looked at the data of the men when they breaking into households and they robbing or committing crimes against women and children. They make sure there's no man in their house before they go in their house. So if they see a man, they're less likely going to break into your house to try to commit a crime on you. But if they see you a house without no man, they're the first house that they're going to, because you can't do nothing about it.
And here's what's killer. You can go back right now to Valentine's Day. You can go back on TikTok, Instagram. Watch how many posts you see of women posting all the stuff that they got for Valentine's Day, what they had. Show me how many of them posted the man that they were with. They got them all of that shit.
Very seldom. Very rare. You're on mute.
Muted, Ali.
Ali, you're on mute.
I'll tell you this too. If you see a woman that's an entrepreneur, she became a millionaire, or she has her own business and degrees, she don't give her man that credit, even if she's married. But when you talk to a married man that's in a relationship, he always says, I would have been nothing without my woman. My woman helped me do all of this. I'd be nothing without her. Men are real quick to give the woman all the credit. But when the woman has the power, and he ain't helped motivate and inspire nothing. You can look at example with Keke Palmer. Her man's a millionaire, but she makes more than him. But she's telling everybody she's single till she married and don't want to live with her. Now that they broke up, she don't even want to live with a man anymore. But she don't want to give a man a credit for what she's inspired or motivated to do. But if you reverse it, women want to take all the credit for what the man did. Matter of fact, if a woman's son makes it to the NBA, she'll take the credit But if he failed and can't read and slow, she'll say it's because the daddy ain't there.
And what's killer about the whole Keke Palmer situation is she ain't with the nigga because of her actions, and all he did was say, "You a mom now," and all she did was listen to the pressure from social media, and now that nigga, her and that nigga gone. Well, all he was saying, "Hey, you're a mom now. Think with a little bit more responsibility, because when your child get older, all he gonna be thinking about when somebody show him, like, hey, mom."
Let me ask y'all. I keep at Tia and my sister Sha. If we had a planet where we sent all the women, and we had a planet where we sent all the men, which gender would beg to live with the other one first? Again, which gender would go, I want to live with them again first? Who would be the first gender to say it? If they had to survive on, they went to these two planets to survive on their own, and they can't interact with each other for survival until one asks, who you think would be the first one to beg for the other to live with the other gender?
Maybe the man
To survive?
to survive.
Yeah, we're going to these plant women want to compete. Let's say we get the epitome of women want to completely commit. We're going to go to full context. Women want to compete with men now. They say they can live without men. Men go, okay, we'll prove it. They go to their own planet. Women go to their own planet. Let's give more context, because the men don't say they don't need a woman, but we try to show our women that you do need us, even though you keep saying you don't need us. If women finally got their wishes, and they got to prove that they don't need men, and we sent women to their own planet, and we sent men to their own planet, who would be the first to admit that we need the other gender to survive?
I feel like a woman will.
What do you think, Sasha?
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Emotional damage.
So if a woman broke down on the side of a road, who would be the first one to help her, a man or a woman, Sasha?
It depends on what she looks like.
Oh, Lord. Oh my
God. Without moving the goalpost.
Wow.
Even if you're gonna use that, who would be the first person to help her, a man or a woman?
If she looked good, a man.
If a woman needed somebody to work on her car as a mechanic, who would be the first person she go to, a man or a woman? If a woman needs somebody to work on her house, to renovate the house, to work on the plumbing, to work, do the electrician, to work on the utilities, who would be the first person she goes to, a man or a woman?
Sorry, a man.
If she's being attacked, who would she be the first person she go to help her from an attacker, a man or a woman?
That depends in this society now, but I would say a man.
So if women went on a planet all by themselves, and a man went on a planet all by themselves, as women are repeatedly asking the men for help, who would be the first person to need help, the men or the women?
I will.
I'm asking my sister. She says she don't know, even though she admitted all these circumstances, the woman is going to ask the man for help. And I'm gonna tell you this, sister. I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
I meet sisters who will use the black power, who will use Egypt and Kush and Kemet and say they're extremely pro-black, but it's always without the black man's involvement, unless he's supporting you, unless he's protecting you, unless he's giving you resources. It has nothing to do with loving him. It has nothing to do with supporting him and catering to him. It has nothing to do with putting him back on the throne. It has nothing to do with making sure he's back a king again. It's always about what he's going to do for the woman. And women use different avenues, whether it's Hotep, whether it's Christian women, whether it's Muslim women, whether it's Jew, whoever woman. It's always God is telling them this, the spirit is telling them this, they burn in sage, and none of it ever tells them how to love a man, never, or how to be a good woman to a man. But there's a lot of brothers that I come across, I know you're going to say if it's my experience, that want to love a woman, want to support a woman, want to have children with a woman, still want a family, and still say how valuable women are. I'll hear women talk about deleting black boys. I'll hear women telling women to stay away from men. I'll hear women literally hating men. I've never in my life heard a man say, I hate women, but I hear plenty of women say, I hate men. I wish they were never born.
You never heard a man say he hates women?
No, never. You heard a man say, what was his name that you heard say that?
They were on the Red Pill podcast.
Which red pill? Who? What? Tell me which podcast. Send me the link where a man said they hate women. See, you just said it too. Now you got to show me the link. You
Talking
said you
about
saw it
Fresh
on the
and Fit.
podcast. Which Fresh and
About
Fit have
Fresh.
never said they hate. They have never said they hated women.
Even my
they-
friend, he was like, "You gotta stop watching that."
no. What link? You got to send me the link where you said they hate women. You got to show me where Fresh and Fit said they hate women, and you got to show me where you seeing men. A man said that they hate women.
Okay.
Okay, I got to see that one. Hold on, let me read these real quick. I'm slacking. My brother Thomas Legacy with the $5 super chat. Is a man supposed to lead a woman? Yes or no? That's to Tia and my sister Sasha. Is a man supposed to lead a woman? Yes or no?
Yes. I would like a leader. I would love a leader. Not like I would love it.
How about my sister?
As long as he walks through the valley of the kings and has high moral character, I would say yes.
But why can't he walk in the valley of the queens?
So long as he has moral character,
Uh-huh.
examples, I would say yes.
No. You said walk with it. You ain't say nothing about the king. You would talk about matriarchal. So why shouldn't he walk with the queens? Why he got to walk with the kings? Why he doesn't walk with the queens?
Well, I feel like just how you need a man to teach a little boy how to be a man. You need a woman to teach a little girl how to be a woman. If a man wants to be a king, he has to be among the kings in order to learn how to be a king. So if a man wants to take a stone as a king, he has to walk through the valley of the kings.
Okay.
Yes. I love that answer.
A man who has a good example of how to be a king, and he actually rises to the occasion, and he has good character, and I would follow that kind of man.
So if a queen doesn't make sure there's a king in her king life, is she a bad mom?
I wouldn't. Me personally, I'm not a mother yet, and this is definitely not.
Oh my God!
Who's a mom.
Oh, Ali.
Would prefer to get married first before having children, because
That's not what I, ma'am. That's not what I asked you. Whether you did it the wrong way, that's not what ma'am. Again, if you believe that men need to be around other kings to be a king, is a woman being a bad mother if she doesn't make sure there's a king in her king's life, in her young king's life?
Well, she should be married first before
I
having.
I didn't ask you that.
But that's making sure there's a king.
No, but I didn't ask you. That's again, you keep doing, and I'm gonna tell you again. And I'm gonna tell you this. I bet you if I said exactly what you wanted me to say and what you wanted to hear, you would say yes to everything that I said. If I said that Egypt was a matriarch, if I spoke about Cush, if I said that Egypt was named by Europeans, if I said that men need to let women lead them and men need to listen to women, if I said certain rhetoric that you wanted to hear, you would listen to me. But the fact that all I said was, should she make sure, regardless of how you do it, that there's a king in your young king's life? Is she a bad mother? You speaking about everything else except for just addressing what I'm asking you.
I address what you asked.
No, ma'am. Every time, man. No, when I ask you a question, you beat around the bush.
No, I said exactly.
No, you do. You have three people. Hold on, real quick. Has she been beating around the bush when I ask her questions, y'all? I have a man and a woman up here, so we have a balance. You say balance. It's not two men up here. It's another woman and men up here, right? And we talk about accountability. Tia, has she been beating around the bush when I ask her questions?
Yes.
My brother, has she been beating around the bush? So that's two people, Tia. So either all three of us is crazy, or you're not ready to accept the accountability of what happens when you're having these conversations. Because if someone else that cares about you is having these conversations with you as well too, it would be hard to have a conversation with you if you're not addressing what the people are talking about or having an actual conversation, and you make it about what you want it to be, which means you prioritize yourself above everybody else. If they don't say what you want to say, if they don't do what you want them to do, you won't see them as valuable. But you'll also use something else higher than you to say that this is what you should believe with. The same way a lot of Christian women use God, you're using Kemet and you're using Egypt to do that.
Well, to answer directly, I feel like I'd be judgmental to call a woman a bad mom, but I definitely don't think a woman should be having kids unless she's married. So I think it's important to marry your king first so that he'll be in the life of your future child.
If I'm not taking care of my kid, am I a bad dad?
Well, it depends. Why can't you take care of your child?
No. If I have all the power and means to take care of my child and I decide not to, am I a bad dad?
I feel like calling him a bad dad is judgmental. If he has the capability and the means, is he being prevented from taking care of the child? Because there's some men who have all the means, but
I'm asking you. I'm asking you again. If I have all the means to be there for my child and take care of my child and help his mother, am I a bad man for not taking care of them and helping them?
if there's nothing preventing him from doing that, then he's not being a good dad.
No, am I a bad dad?
Well, he's not being a dad at all.
Yeah, but you just said you wouldn't be judgmental. So why did we get to being judgmental?
Well, I'm saying there's context, so that's why I provided context. So long as he's not being prevented from being a father in the children's life, so long as that context is provided, the mother is not keeping him from the children, he has all the ability to be with those kids, and he chooses not to, then I would say he's choosing not even to fulfill the role.
And this is why our sisters cannot help us get in the kingdom right now. This is why our sisters can't help us be kings, because you can talk all about what the patriarchy does or what the European does or what the white man does, but you won't say what the sisters should do what they're not doing. You can judge the people who are doing bad to us, but you won't judge the sisters who are doing bad to men or their kids. And that's why we can't get into the kingdom that you're talking about. That's why we won't get back to Cush. That's why we won't get back to eat. No, let me finish, ma'am. You did all this judging until it was time to be judgmental towards a woman. And then you were able to kind of judge when it came back to a man. But if you're not able to judge, all black people need to be quiet when we talk about the way people are treating us all around the world and our dispositions. We can't judge the European. We can't judge the Asian. We can't judge the Arab of what they've been doing this for thousands of years now. So we have to be quiet and just accept what's happening.
Let's keep it real. She didn't answer your original question. She said they got to.
No, she don't judge. If she doesn't judge, she can't say nothing. If you don't judge, ma'am, all the answers you've been doing was being judgmental, and now you can't judge. Like, and again, hold on real quick. This is when we having these conversations about the difference between men who will tell you what you want to hear and who are emasculated and would rather look good to women than the men who will tell you the truth and not trying to lie to you, try to get between your pants and take advantage of you. These are brothers who will come on here, have this conversation with you where either one, a man wants to take advantage of you, you say that, or two, he's afraid to tell you the truth because you're gonna be judgmental towards him and look at him as a misogynist for trying to communicate to you the truth. But if you're gonna talk about how the kings and queens need to get back to their rightful place, and you can make judgment on that, but you can't judge if we're actually mistreating each other, which you did earlier. You said we're against each other, but now you can't judge if a woman is being a bad mother to her child, or if a father's being a bad father to his child when they're supposed to be the most innocent. They can't even do nothing about their lives. And you can't, and if it's not going to be, you're going to say something and it's not going to be accountable. So you have to have a child to be able to say if something's bad to a child, if something bad happens to a child, you have to have a child.
I feel like I don't have like the right to speak on how mother's mother or how father's father, because I don't have any children yet. But I will say that I do want to be a good mom. So I want to make sure that I choose a really good husband and a good father for my future kids.
So you can't.
I feel like if I don't do that, that's my first offense.
So hold on, brother. So you can make judgments on men and women on whether a man can be in your life or not, but you can't make judgments on who should be around children or not, or if children should be get treated with respect or not, or if children should get taken care of or not. And we're talking about getting back to the origin and becoming these indigenous people we talking about, where many hands make light work, where it takes a village to raise a child. Like all these slogans you were using or things that have been passed down through generation, you were able to utilize those words, but now we can't say nothing about what's in the best interest of children.
I mentioned what's in the best interest of children.
No, you say you can't be judgmental now because we had to talk about whether a mother, when we got down to the fact if a woman can be bad or not, you said you can't be judgmental.
But I answered the rest of it. What was the rest?
Can I change? If I'm a bad, no. If I'm a bad man and none of three of you can't judge me, would that make me be a good man?
What was the rest of what I said?
I'm gonna ask you again, and that's okay. You know what?
You said, would I be a bad
No,
mom?
ma'am. Remember, I told you that what a lot of feminists will do, or women in general will do, when it comes down to being accountable and responsible for what you're communicating or doing, you're gonna make it about you, and that's what. And whether you acknowledge it or not, that's going to be up to you. But this is if we're talking about solutions, if we're talking about what men and women to do to help our children and to have families, if you can't speak even on yourself or look in the mirror and go, what you've been doing on this show and acknowledge what you've been saying, and then it contradicts itself when you say we're against each other, but then you can't make judgment on whether a woman is a bad woman or not, we can never make progress, because we're willing to say if a man is bad or not. We're willing to say whether something should be matriarchy or patriarchy, but you can't even make judgment on whether a woman is bad or not.
I think I've given you my answers. You just don't like them.
And that's the cliche feminist answer.
All right, here's what's funny. She never answered bro's original question was, should women lead a man or should man lead a woman? It's very simple. Man,
She did no, she didn't know she did. She said man's value.
Your question.
Oh, no, you're right. She said
your
it.
Your question was,
you're saying things without saying them, and then you're backtracking and flip. You said the men are supposed to be the protectors and the providers and provide security. Then you'll backtrack and say we should have a matriarchal society. And then
another question though, Ali. You said, why do they have to walk through the valley of the kings and not the valley of the queens?
Yeah.
Very simple.
Patriarchal.
There is no valley of the queen.
Matriarchs and patriarchs work for the different cultures that you're in. I never said one's good or one's bad. I actually said it's not good or bad. It's just depending on the culture you're in and what you need at the time. And that if you're at war, you're probably going to need a more patriarchal paradigm. That's what I said. I remember.
Throughout every empire and every society, what has been noticed more? A patriarch or a matriarch? What's more documented through society throughout human history?
Was it directed to both of us or?
Nah, you know it's not directed to you.
Or the chat or everybody.
You know it's.
All right, look, my woman's calling me to come to bed, so Ali, Tia.
Good night.
It's been a pleasure. Y'all have a good night.
I don't think anybody likes my answer, so I'll leave the chat. You guys have a good night.
That's victim. That's now you became a victim, and that's crazy.
Victim.
No, that's a victim. Like if people don't like your answers, if people don't like, it's not about the people liking your answers. You're not answering, and then you're gonna do this for the rest of your. How old are you? Like, just remember this. Just remember today, and I'm gonna tell you again. What most women do, they'll encounter the truth, and you act like you're walking in the truth, and you'll walk right away from it as fast as possible and go to somebody who's gonna endorse your lies, and that's fine. But people have let me finish. People have the right to disagree with you. Most people, when you first were talking, they agreed with what a lot that you said. Soon as it got to holding women accountable or speaking about the impact of women on her children, you were not able to judge. That's why it was getting slowed to looking at it as a feminist ideals. Now, and you're saying the matriarch, you say we're supposed to be balanced and women are powerful as well too. And you're already running away from a situation where there's a disagreement your first time, which means if you have a conflict with most men, which is going to be about truth or it's going to be about responsibility, you're going to walk away. You're going to walk away from it.
I'm not running away. I've been here for a long time, and I've
repeated. No, you just said that people are not liking your answers, so I'm going to leave, ma'am. That's what you said.
Yeah, you're calling me a feminist. You call me a liar, and I'm saying I'm not a feminist. I think that's destructive.
When did I call you a liar?
Just
you reading my chat?
No, just now. You literally.
What did I say? No, what did I say that was a lie? When did I call you a liar? What did I say was a lie? What did I say? Tia, did I call her a liar?
I didn't hear a lie.
When I called you a lie?
He said lies. He said your lies. You said that. You don't.
What lies? No, ma'am, you're reading the chat. I didn't call you a liar.
Yeah, the chat said
I said you would listen. I said you would listen to lies that men tell you. I didn't call you a liar, ma'am. You're reading the chat, and the chat was calling you a liar. No, you looking at the chat while we're having a discussion, and then when you heard something that didn't make you feel good because of what's happening right now, we have to be held. You have to hold yourself accountable about what you're saying. It's not what I said. You were making judgments this whole show. Soon as I asked you if a woman wasn't doing right by, if a woman wasn't make sure there was a king in a young king's life, all of a sudden you can't make judgment, which means you're selective.
No, I gave you my answer. I think you're automatically not the best mom if you didn't marry the father and make.
I didn't ask you if she's the best mom. I said, is she a bad mother? Can you say when someone's bad or not? If I put my hands on a woman, is that a bad man? If I'm a white man that kills a black man, is that bad? Am I a bad man?
Did she pull out a knife on you? It depends on the context.
You want to give, and you want to ask for content, which is having a bad faith because I don't have to add context to it. You know what I'm asking. So you're playing. Yes, ma'am, you are. You're playing around. You're playing around with the conversation instead of being intentional. And you right. I know you're gonna go. And like I told you, this is what you're not used to people responding back. You know why you're so comfortable saying and doing what you do and just go on monologues? You're not used to a man saying anything to you because you'll use your femininity against yourself. You only will be receptive. Tia can have these conversations, be upset, be frustrated, come back again and have a conversation. And because she's understanding what's happening your first time, that someone's giving you pushback because you're used to monologuing, is you're going to run away from it. Probably your first time because you're going to go. It's going to happen again if you're going to just have conversations with men.
Monologuing and rather than
and look, see what I'm saying? And you're used to that. When you are already, it bothers you when you hear something you don't want to hear, so you're going to interject and cut off the person. But when you're going to encounter another person where you're going to be in conflict, it's going to be. I'm telling. Watch this. It's going to be someone who typically cares about you. You're going to have a problem with. Versus someone who will enable you. You have great relationships with them if they tell you what you want to hear. But it's somebody who cares about you, someone who's trying to hold you accountable, someone who's actually speaking truth. You're going to go back and forth with them. Remember what I told you. Just remember after this comment, and you already probably do it, and you won't acknowledge it, but you probably already do it in your life right now. The people you should be listening to, you don't listen to, and the people you shouldn't listen to, you listen to. I promise that's what's happening in your life. I know for a fact. I don't even have to because I've done this so long.
Well, I think this was an interesting discussion. It is 1 o'clock over here.
Of course, yeah, over here too.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your time as well too.
I hope you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you. Hope you come back. But
before you leave, I was trying to jot down a book. You said American. Damn it! Oh shit, she left.
She on the run. I'm telling you.
Damn. I was interested in that.
Brother Shadow Dragon Teep. She's not interested. She's interested. Look, a lot of our sisters move like terrorists. They only gonna align with the women who will throw the bomb just like they do. Who will be a Unabomber. If you're not a Unabomber with them, if they can't manipulate the man that's on the panel and he don't say the things they want you to say, they can't get a Unabomber. They bouncing. Shadow Dragon TV with the $10 super chat. Cleopatra used the Roman man's help to become ruler of Egypt. She waged a civil war with her own brother, who was already Pharaoh. When her brother died, she became Pharaoh, but Caesar ruled through her. That's that. But I'm going. Well, let me see. I think I might go to my brother. Let me see if my brother Trey live. I didn't think he was going to be live today. Because he was sick. But let me see if he live. We might go. Let me see. You want to go to my brother Trey's live?
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna send you his link. All right.
Yeah, I do better on my computer because my phone be fucking up.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna still keep going live. I'm gonna share Trey's live. We're gonna go over there. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna send you his live. Let me get his live real quick. It's crazy. Oh no, well, let me see. That's crazy, man. It happens every time. Every time.
Yeah, she came in with some good stuff at first, but I deal with somebody that's like
it's always like that. It start off like that.
And it's always a textbook response. I need a real life experience response. Even if it doesn't relate to you, you may know somebody who've experienced it. So you
Right.
can speak to that. But I hate when it has to go through textbooks and what you read or what you feel. And I'm like, ugh.
Okay, hold. Okay, hold. Okay, I'll put the link in the back chat.
I
Okay,
see it.
go to that one.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'm about to share. Hey, Tia, hit the link again, Tia. Hit the link again.
That's kind of mean, Rose. I never call you out your name.
Or is it true? Or is it
because
true?
I'm very masculine. I love women. I'm very masculine, and I'm a bad bitch whisperer, and I love
doubt it.
Hold on, real quick.
love me too.
Hey, y'all, hold on. Give me a second. Hold on.
Ruthless is very famous.
Everybody to stop.
I am
Ali,
I am
real quick. Hey, Ali, you trying to get some people in?
I was trying to bring one person.
Okay,
Yeah, that was a girl.
Who
that
you
came.
wanted? Who?
It was
hey.
Tia. It was Tia.
Okay, hold on. I got you. Listen,
It's a woman.
bro. I know you talking.
You know,
about.
they're more valuable than us.
Hold on, listen. Listen, I got you. Hold on. Give me a second.
Straight on.
Hey, Scam like you camming up or not? If you're not, you gotta go. Hey, tell her to send one now.
I'll drop.
I'm gonna talk to you later, Scam.
All right, tell me to come up now, Ali. And Ali, I had to Harwin, hold on. I'm trying to get Ali people in here first. Hold on. Before I add anybody else. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Who else? You got anybody else, Ali?
I think he froze.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, bet. Okay.
You want to put him back up?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Hey, Harwin. I mean, not Harwin. Goddamn, I said Harwin. You got the stuff, Samson?
It's on me?
Yes, sir. I've been told you that.
Okay, like that. I'm on the ones and twos again. All right. We got a couple questions, y'all. Y'all know the deal. Rose doing my super chats. Y'all know how this goes. Get your Hey Roses in now. Start the campaign. Tell a friend. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay. We gonna be talking.